Welcome to Happy Hour Conversations with Tamekia. We are everything her, helping to elevate and redefine our sister friend tribe and bringing women voices and stories to the mic. I am your girl Tamekia. Be sure to stay connected with me on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok at Happy Hour Conversations with Tamekia, and for short, it is HHCWT. Let's go ahead and dive right on into today's episode because today we are going to talk about turning 46. Yep, you guessed it. I turned 46 last week, and so I want to talk about my experience turning 46 because this age it hits differently. Not because I am getting older, not because I feel like I'm getting closer to 50. None of that, right? None of that. In fact, the 40 Club has actually been my best club for many reasons, but I'll just share a few. It's been the best because I feel like I have blossomed and grown into my womanhood. I have grown more into being Tamekia with absolutely no concerns about what others think. So I feel like 40s has really graced me with saying, this is who you are, and embrace life and embrace who you are, Tamekia. And I've grown so much in being a better person, being better versions of myself. And so that's another topic for another day. But we are going to talk about turning 46. As I talk about turning 46, I want you to also join me as I make my birthday cake. Because listen, when I say it has hit different, it definitely has hit different. Typically, I am cheering and yelling and saying my age and what I'm about to do and what I'm about to be. And none of that was going on. But I also wasn't sad. I knew I wasn't sad, but I couldn't identify what the feeling was. Listen, I didn't even have a plan for my birthday. My birthday was on a Saturday, and it was like a Wednesday, and I still didn't have a plan. And so, although I couldn't identify this feeling, it was more of I can tell you it was a mix of being numb with a state of what is happening, what is going on. So, let me bring you up to speed. The week of, my sister was like, okay, what do you want to do? And didn't really know. And so kind of last minute, I was like, okay, well, I want to get dolled up. I'm going to get dolled up because I am typically in sweatpants, stretch pants, hoodies, t-shirts, sportswear, right? It's pretty much my everyday wear unless I have a meeting or somewhere I need to be at. But typically I'm dressed down. So I was like, okay, I want to get dolled up and we're going to go to happy hour. So myself and a couple of friends, my sister, we went to happy hour and it was a good time. It was a really good time, but I still was not feeling like my normal self, right? So Friday night, I get home and it was very late Friday night, early Saturday morning, which is my actual born day. A light switch flipped on. And I was then able to identify this thing that I had been feeling and why it was so hard for me to be like, I am about to be 46 and just yell and be happy and cheerful. It was because my brain was processing 46 as 64. Yep, you heard me right. My brain transposed the numbers and processed 46 as 64. I know that sounds really weird, right? But it happened. Um, and 64 is the age my mom transitioned this earth. And so the numbness came from my brain processing the age of 64. So it was a trigger for me. Now, I don't know the technical term or medical terms of what's happening. And I'm not going to invest time in research. But I am open to speaking with an expert who can break down the functions of the brain and the processing of information. So if you're that expert, please let me know so you can explain further exactly what's going on. I can only tell you I'm the expert in telling you what I'm experiencing, right? Because I'm the one that's going through the experience. And while my brain transposed the numbers, At the same time, the other parts of my brains that controls the speaking, I couldn't get 46 out because it was a hesitation every time I thought about saying 46. It was, I'm getting ready to say 64 and had no idea why I was getting ready to say 64. So part of me was like, wait, it's not, you're not 64, you're 46. And I had to work really hard in correcting, and I still do today, a week later, I still do, but I'm more aware of it now, and so I can stop myself and say 46. But then I had to really correct myself and push through to make myself say I'm 46. And so yeah, I've been at this whole thing for a week, and I can't help but think, okay, this has been a week and I'm going to be 46 for an entire year. So, what does this even look like? And I try not to think about it in a negative way. And so, what I did, I looked up the angel number 64. So, the angel number 64 is intent. So, I'll read it to you all. It says, state what you want to accomplish. Your angels ask you to state out loud what you intend to accomplish. This could be intention for the day or a much broader life intention. Either way, write it down, post it where you can see it, and repeat it to yourself throughout the day. So I've now been able to identify this trigger, and I've taken it and made it a positive outcome, if you will, for me. And I wanted to share this experience and bring awareness because their triggers come in many ways, and oftentimes we don't know exactly what's happening, nor can we control it. But I want to give you a few tips that you can digest as you are dealing with any triggers that may come about as you are on your grief journey. And so, grab pen and paper because I want you all to write these down. So, the first tip I want you to digest is accept that you are not feeling like your ordinary self. It is absolutely okay to say, I am not feeling like my ordinary self. What I want you to do while you're at step one or tip one is refrain from making excuses about why you're not feeling like yourself. You owe nobody any excuse. It's okay to not feel like yourself. So refrain from making excuses. Be comfortable with not being your best. Often we push ourselves and we push ourselves and we push ourselves. And yes, our goal is to show up and be our best selves every day. But also know and be comfortable. It is okay not to be your best self. Listen, life be life and things happen, situations happen. We are given curveballs throughout the day. And so be comfortable with not being your best. Give the world what you can, right? Give the world what you can and then rest. And when I say the world, I mean give the world what you can, give home life what you can, and keep it moving. Now, home life is going to require you to give a few instructions, of course, but after you have done that, give yourself some rest. Because remember, it is all right to say, my needs come first. My needs come first. So that was number one. Tip number one, accept that you are not feeling yourself, feeling your ordinary self, feeling like your ordinary self, excuse me. Tip number two, admire the space that you're in. Yep, admire the space that you are in. Take a moment to slow down. You can ask yourself some questions to clarify, get more clarity. And you can ask your questions such as, okay, what am I feeling? When did I start feeling this way? Where was I at when I noticed this shift in myself? How am I feeling? Start trying, if you can, put some identifying words to exactly what you're feeling. It is okay to sit for a moment and start asking yourself some clarifying questions so you can start figuring out exactly what's happening. And it's also okay to sit quietly as well. Respect the space versus disregarding the space, it always wins. I'll say it again. Respecting the space versus disregarding the space that you're in, it always wins. And it wins because it helps you develop healthy coping. Healthy coping. It helps you develop healthy coping. And healthy coping matters. Tip number 3, the pieces will come together when, again, the pieces will come together. And when it does, make a promise to yourself to work through it. So I'm going to give you the tips that I want you to digest one more time when you are experiencing or going through things that triggers you. I want you to go through these steps so you can start identifying exactly what's going on with you. Tip number 1, accept that you are not feeling like your ordinary self. Tip number 2, admire the space that you are in. Tip number 3, the pieces will come together. You just have to do tip 1 and tip 2. Now, it was important for me to share this with you all because remember, the angel number 64 is about intent, right? And I didn't put all these pieces together until I was doing this episode, and I was like, oh wow, this is really relevant. Remember, 64 was about intent. Angel number 64 is about intent. State what you want to accomplish. And so if you are going through an experience to where something may trigger you and you're not able really to identify it, you can take a moment, be intentional, and digest these tips so you can start identifying exactly what's going on. Okay. So 64, remember, if you take nothing else from this episode, 64 is about intent. Tip 1 was accept that you are not feeling like your ordinary self. Tip 2 that I want you to digest is admire the space that you are in. You can sit with it for a while, dance with it with a little bit, admire that space. And number 3, know the pieces will come together. And when they do, you have to make a promise to yourself that you'll work through it. And of course, remember, 64 is all about intent. And so I wanted to come on and share this experience because too often we sit and we think that we are in something alone, and somebody else may be going through this whole experience as well and not know why they have a trigger, why something may be triggering them. And it's okay to identify, accept, and be in that space of, okay, this is what's going on with me. So I hope this was helpful to someone, but I can now say that although I'm still working through this, I always knew that I wasn't sad about turning 46, but now I'm able to identify like, oh, because it was a trigger. My brain is processing 46 as 64. And again, if you are that expert out there that can explain all the functions and how the brain works, please let me know because I would love to sit and talk with you. And so, as I welcome 46, I made my favorite birthday cake. Okay, my favorite birthday cake is yellow cake with chocolate icing. And I always get the question of, why do you make your own birthday cake? Why are you making your own birthday cake? And so I will share this. My entire life, it was one thing I always looked forward to from my mama. And if I didn't have nothing else, I better have had a cake for my birthday with a birthday card with a love note in it. I'm real simple. Those were the two things that I always wanted. And so obviously when my mom transitioned, that tradition, I wasn't able to get that tradition from her. So I took that tradition on for myself. And so making my cake, it brings me joy. Like it lights up my soul. And I want to offer that to people as well. Do things that light you up, but it makes you feel good. So making my cake, making my own birthday cake from scratch, it brings me joy. It lights up my soul. And it gives me that time to tap into Of course, my baking skills. You know, I'm my mama's daughter. So it gives me that time to tap into my baking skills and know that I can carry on this tradition with the story. As I share my birthday with people, I'll also share, I love to share my birthday cake as well. I will also attach the ingredients step by step listed in the descriptions. But again, I hope this episode will help someone. Just remember, be intentional. 64 is about being intentional. Again, this is Happy Hour Conversations with Tamekia. If you are ever looking for me, remember you can find me at Happy Hour Conversations with Tamekia on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. And I also want you to remember to always grow daily, move in love and in purpose. This is your girl, Tamekia, and we'll talk soon. Hello, hey, sister friend tribe. It is your girl, Tamekia. We hope this episode was really helpful for you and that you enjoyed the episode. Sister friend tribe, if you are looking for grooming products, self-care products for the men in your life, I have the perfect shop for you to check out. Check out the Black Gentleman Company. They have tons of care products for men. They have shaving soaps, they have brushes, oils, balms that will help nourish beards, mustaches, and they have many more products. So if you are looking for self-care products that will help the men in your life with their self-care and their grooming, be sure to go check out the Black Gentleman Company. Of course, it's Black owned. The website again is www.theblackgent.com. And of course, here at Happy Hour Conversation with Tamekia, we are everything her, helping, elevating, and redefining. So, of course, they have products for you as well. I'm just going to say this one last time. We hope you enjoyed this episode. I am your girl, Tamekia, and we'll talk soon.